Hello, everybody. Your Majesty, thank you very much for this great honor to talk to you and be here with you today. This is our space, our soup kitchen, where we have the capacity to feed 6,000 people daily. During this pandemic, we should do a little bit more for our beneficiaries, and we decided to do masks to protect them and their families and also the community. And we start a campaign with our partners to see if we could also promote employment for women on their community. And we start to work with 15 dressmakers. We managed to do 6,000 masks. Here we have 4 of the 15 women that used to work with us during the pandemic. We are now producing masks to continue to support our initiative. And these masks did with a traditional textile called capulana. It's very fashionable, and that's why we managed to sell enough to continue the support that we have in our communities. Now we have a special offer for you, ma'am. It's a mask that we want to offer you as a gift and acknowledging that, or recognition for this prize, this award that you gave to us. Please accept our humble gift to you from Mozambique with love. Thank you very much for this honor.
Oh, that is very kind of you, indeed. How many volunteers do you need for doing all this work in the kitchen?
We have 24 collaborators here, but of course, because we need to expand this for all over the country, we'll need much more.
Yes, indeed, yes. Oh, that's splendid work.
My organization is a community-driven conservation organization that was started way back in 1990. And the focus was basically to try to convince the residents who lived in my community that the leatherback sea turtle, the most ancient of all sea turtles that came to our island every year to nest, needed protection. My community consists of persons who ate the leatherbacks as food. Every single leatherback that crawled onto the beach at night would be consumed by the local residents. And in 1991, a group of volunteers, myself included, came together and decided that we needed to make a difference and make a change. And what was noteworthy is that my family was noted to be the largest turtle-eating family in the village. So here you had a young boy from a turtle-eating family wanting to make a difference. What we didn't know that 30 years later, that effort that started way back then would see Trinidad being recognized as one of the most important nesting sites for the leatherback sea turtle in the world.
So David Attenborough got to know what you were doing?
Yes. He spent 2 weeks with us in Grand River. He filmed a sequence of the Planet 2. We took him over to the primary school. The primary school has only 28 children. And he inspired them to dream. He inspired them to be the next conservation, the next biologist.
That's very interesting indeed to hear that.
Good afternoon, Your Majesty. I'm deeply honored to have this call with you today, and I'm thankful for recognizing my work as a volunteer. I also feel extremely grateful that you will have the opportunity to see these wonderful children today that changed and brought meaning in my life. A very special school, a school that does not have not even one Cypriot, a school with children from 20 different countries, a school with most of the students considered as at-risk children. After 10 years teaching to that school, I learned so much from these children, and I literally feel that I learned life through them. Sistema Cyprus aims to transform the lives of children who live in the most challenging neighborhoods of Nicosia and Larnaca through this project. As this call is a few days after your wedding anniversary, please allow the Sistema Cyprus Symphony Orchestra to perform an extract from the piece Motus Cyprius, which was specially composed for us by the Cypriot composer Andreas Michalopoulos.
That's very nice, isn't it?
Thank you so
Have you been able
much.
to keep the orchestra going during the pandemic?
Yes, we had to stop for 2 months when we had the lockdown, and then we started with small groups of kids. Now we don't have a lockdown so far, so we are allowed to have orchestra rehearsals, but with less students. So we have
Well, thank
more.
you for letting me hear that. That was very nice. And thank you all for taking part in this program. I'm delighted to have heard your stories. And I think it's wonderful work that you're all doing and for volunteering so much. Thank you very much.